Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I will be ranking every single match I've seen in 2025, and this is number 87. It is going to be... So the reason why this one is going to be placed here is because I was in the merch tables while this one is here, so we're just going to move forward now. And so with that, let's move right into number 86. So this match wasn't too bad, and also some of the footage that you're going to see here for this match, some of the footage, quality got messed up, and I'm not sure how that happened, and I apologize for that, but this match wasn't too bad. It just wasn't the greatest thing. I'm not that big of a fan of Stone and Banks as a tag team. Not that big of a fan of Banks in general. But the match wasn't too bad, and Elliot Tyler's pretty good. I've become a fan of him, so I hope to see more of his work in 2026. But altogether, this match wasn't too bad. There's a lot of matches on the list, so some of them had to be placed lower, you know what I'm saying? So next up at number 85. So Katrina Creed versus Melanie Havoc wasn't too bad. The crowd was a little bit dead for this match, which definitely helps it get a little bit of a lower spot, for sure. But all in all, it wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, this is the only time I've seen both of these stars. I have seen Katrina Creed at another event, but she wasn't wrestling on the card. I hope to see them both again one day down the line. We are going to be seeing another PCW show definitely in 2026. So hopefully we'll see another match out of these two, and we'll get a more lively crowd. Because the main problem with this match was really the crowd, I'm not going to lie to you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what makes number 84. And at number 84, we have Stu Grayson's Open Challenge, ladies and gentlemen, at the Scream event this past Halloween. That'll be number 84. And this match was pretty good. It was on the pre-show for the event. It was the first match that we've seen. And the opponent here tonight who accepted the challenge, his name was T-Bone. Never seen him before. This was the only time I got to see him. But I didn't mind seeing him either. And I'm a big Stu Grayson fan, so I never am upset about seeing Stu Grayson. Especially to kick off the show. What a great way to kick off the show. But I've seen plenty of Stu Grayson matches, and this one was one of the more basic matches, of course. Just was meant to get the fans into the show, and that's why it got placed solo here on the card. And now let's take a look at who made number 83. And this match was also a pretty solid match here. Not the biggest fan of the Stallions, I'm not going to lie. Maximum Heat were cooking in this match, though. And Randy Barry, a really cool guy. He's a member of the Maximum Heat team there, and we might have some other content coming out with Randy Barry here in the future, so keep an eye out for that. But this match had some pretty crazy spots. You see that moonsault there from the top ropes. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a fan of this luchador guy here. He had some pretty sloppy looking spine busters, but that's alright. Everyone starts somewhere. But all in all, I didn't mind this match. It was a pretty solid tag team match. I just think I've seen a lot better tag team matches this year. And I hope to see Maximum Heat once more, because I think they're a really good tag team. And I'd like to see them mix it up with a few other teams there that I'm used to seeing. And let's go ahead and see who makes number 82 on the list. We're going to see who that is right now. And this was a pretty good opening match. It was on the pre-show as well. This was actually the first C4 I've ever attended. And I don't have too much footage of this match saved on my phone, so I recorded some of the actual vlog that I uploaded. If you want to check out more footage of this match, go check out the vlog. But this was a pretty good match. Good way to open the show. Just have seen better matches out of Jimmy Townsend, and I haven't seen too much from the other guys. But great match. And let's take a look at who made number 81. And this match was pretty good. It was a Survivor Series style match. The only Survivor Series style match I've ever seen. And I've seen Dexter Doom plenty of times. I like Dexter Doom. He was pretty good. He did some pretty good stuff in this match. That Brainbuster spot was pretty good. We've seen a pretty sloppy drop kick. I'm pretty sure there's a clip of it here you'll see here soon. But all in all, this was a pretty fun match. I got to meet one of the wrestlers in this match as well. I'll put a photo of that here as well here in a minute. And, pretty good match. You see the 450 splash. There were some pretty good spots in this match, but all in all, I think it just went a little too long before there was eliminations. And then once the elimination started, they just elimination after elimination after elimination. It kind of went too quickly, and didn't give enough people enough time for everyone to really show who they are and show their in-ring ability. There's that drop kick. And then here's that photo of me and Clash there, and my buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check out who made the list at number 80. So this match wasn't too bad. I enjoyed this match a lot. Actually, it was my first WWE match of the year. It was a speed match. It was before SmackDown started. It was pretty good. I've already did a crazy top rope power slam. I'm not sure if I got a clip of that, but if I do, I'll include it. But all in all, it was a pretty quick match, pretty good match. Fun way to open up the show. And I'm not a big fan of the speed concept, so I'm hoping in 2026 I don't see any speed matches, but I won't be too upset if I do. It wasn't a bad match. This one is what makes number 79. This one gets placed here just because I don't really have any footage of this match. But it ended in, I'm pretty sure it ended in a DQ. All the teams came out, started brawling, so it wasn't the greatest match, but it was a fun little segment. I got to see a lot of teams, Motor City Machine Guns, so that's why it makes number 79. And the actual advertised match here was Street Profits versus Los Garza, by the way. So this is number 78 here, and a few matches here. I don't have the footage, and I cannot really find it on my phone or any of the stuff I was saved on. So I've just re-recorded a couple of the clips from my videos of the actual event. So go ahead and check those out. But this match was a pretty solid opener. It was for the pre-show for Deliverus from Evil. It was a pretty good match to start us off. But I've seen better matches out of everyone here except for the one guy, Greenway. Here's what makes number 77. This was a solid singles women's match at Deliverus from Evil between Gabby Forza and Crystal Moon. I believe this is the only time I've seen Crystal Moon before, but it was a pretty solid match, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen Gabby Forza in a lot of better matches than this match, but this was still a pretty good singles women's match. And it was at a pretty violent event, so this match was one of the more tame matches at it. But it was a pretty violent event, 2 steel cage matches, a street fight. It was a pretty vicious event. And Gabby always hits those brutal spears. And let's see what makes number 76. This one makes number 76. This was a pretty entertaining 8-man tag team match. This was actually at the first C4 event I ever went to. And Puff was the star of this match. The crowd was deeply on Puff's side. He was taking over. He was doing a lot of comedy spots. But even when he wasn't in the ring, we were seeing a lot of good action from Kristara and stuff like that. And all in all, this was a pretty fun 8-man tag. This was my first 8-man tag, I believe, of the entire year. I see plenty of 8-man tags this year, that's for certain. And I became a big fan of Pretty Ricky in this match as well. But mainly Puff was the star. You'll hear that they were chanting for Puff pretty deep during this match for the most part. And I also met Puff after the match. There's a photo of that right now. And that's why this one makes number 76. We'll see number 75 next. And this was a pretty good tag team match. I've seen a lot of Kevin Blackwood matches, and unfortunately he has chosen to retire this year. There's a lot more matches that we will see on this list from Kevin Blackwood, but this is unfortunately the worst of them this year. Pretty big guy doing a moonsault there. We also got this cool tag team combo splash. I don't have the footage, so that's why you're seeing the me recording some of the tapes from my video. But here's a photo of my girlfriend who met Haley Dillon from this match. And we're going to move on to number 74. Here is number 74, and this match was pretty solid. I think this was my first time seeing Jody Threat. She's a TNA star. And past this point, we should have most of the footage for all the matches as I found in my old files on the bright side of things. So we can look forward to that. But this match was pretty good for a first experience for Jody Threat. It was pretty good. I think I've seen Casey Diamond at this point twice before this. So I already knew kind of what to expect from her. But Jody Threat was ripping things up in this match. We've seen a pretty interesting suplex, I believe, off the apron in this match into the ring, which looked pretty brutal. Also, we've seen that Michinoku driver, which was pretty clean as well. This was probably one of the better singles, like one-on-one women's matches I've seen out of C4, I'm not gonna lie. But they normally have like tag team matches and multi-people matches, so I don't always see too many one-on-one women's matches, but there is a handful of them that will be coming up soon. And here's that suplex I was telling you about a few minutes ago, so you can check that out. It's pretty sick. And here comes our next number, number 73. So this match takes number 73, and this match wasn't bad at all. It was that Fighting Back charity event. I was a little bit too drunk during this match, so I didn't get the full experience out of it. There's also a really annoying fan in the distance, but that's okay. All in all, it was a pretty solid match, though, and we're going to move on to number 72. So at number 72, we have a Stu Grayson Open Challenge. I don't actually have any footage of this match, though, so we're just going to move things along pretty quickly. I don't remember the guy's name he was against, but he lost. So let's move on to number 71. At 71, we have Mason Carter versus Brent Banks at Smash Wrestling Ante Up. This was a pretty solid opening match. I'm not a big fan of Brent Banks. Not the biggest fan of Mason Carter either, but this was a pretty interesting opening match. It was a solid match. We got some pretty interesting spots out of it. The crowd was a little bit dead as this match took place directly after All Out, so this match actually started at around 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the night, so it was pretty late, so a lot of people were a little bit dead in this match. But they tried their best to get the people up and standing, and they didn't really succeed too well for this match. And here's your number 70 spot. This is a tag team match. I believe this was the opening match for this event. Here's a major show of strength that we've seen from Drea. This match was pretty good. First time I got to see a lot of my favorite indie stars, in fact. Von Vertigo, one of the top stars for me in the indies. Gabriel Forza, also a top star. And Alessia Nicole always puts on banger matches, and I've recently become a fan of Drea as well. So 4 people that I am a big fan of. This match just wasn't their best match that they've had together, and they actually will have another tag team match, this exact tag team situation, later up on this list that did a lot better. So that's going to be that one for this one, and we're going to go down to number 69, good old 69. Here at number 69, it's going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Chelsea Green at the February 20th edition of SmackDown, and I do not have a whole lot of footage of this match, so I'm just going to include a couple of photos of the match and the action that took place. It was a pretty solid match. It was a pretty fun match to be there to witness. I'm a big Chelsea Green fan, of course, being Canadian. And Trish Stratus was part of this match also. It ended in disqualification. We ended up having a bit of a Trish Stratus brawl with Candice LeRae and Nia Jax. And this is about all the footage I've got of this match. I'm pretty sure it did end in disqualification. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty positive it ended in disqualification. All in all, not a very memorable match, but a pretty fun match to have on SmackDown. And it was nice to see Trish Stratus once again and Chelsea Green. Number 68, we have another Stu Grayson Open Challenge. This one was actually a triple threat. It was Johnny DeLuca and Double D's Dylan. And I ended up meeting Johnny DeLuca at this match. This was not my first Johnny DeLuca, but this was the first time I got to meet Johnny DeLuca. I got his signature. I don't have too much footage of this match, as it was a pre-show match. But it was really good. A lot of memorable moments in this match. I got to share some booze with Johnny DeLuca and the Dylan star here in this match. It was a pretty solid match. And we're going to move on to number 60. At number 67, we have this women's match from Smash Wrestling's Ante Up event. I don't have much footage of this match either. It was a pretty solid women's match. It was just an average Indies women's match, to be honest. But it wasn't too bad, and I got to meet Sonny Kiss shortly after this match. So here's a photo of that. And we're going to move right on to number 66. Let's find out what's there. So this was an impromptu Vertigo Rules match. Von Vertigo was set to address the dangerous workhouse environments, and he actually gave me that pan flips and used me in his promo as I ripped it up and threw it in the air. And they threatened to kick me out for that, but it was just for his promo. So it was all in good fun. The match itself, he was against a member of TDT, and it was a pretty solid match, to be fair, but not the best Vertigo match I've seen this year. I've seen plenty of Von Vertigo matches this year as well, and you're definitely going to see plenty more of those on this list. But this match was a pretty fun match, and I believe this was the first match of the show, like the main card. I might be wrong. And we are going to find out what's at number 65 now. Number 65, we have this Tag Team Championship title defense from Project 8100 against Banks and Stone. And this was actually the event that Brent Banks turned heel against James Stone. So that match will be a match that's coming up in 2026. But this tag team match was a decent tag team match. I'm not a big Brent Banks fan, so normally I'm not gonna rate his matches too high. But this match wasn't too bad at all. I can't even say that it wasn't it was a pretty solid match. And I'm a big fan of Dexter Doom, so I'm glad to see that Dexter Doom is walked out here with the tag team titles in hand. And I'm interested to see where the Banks-Stone storyline goes to. Hopefully Stone gets a big push here in this story. But this was a pretty solid match here. And I'm hoping that the tag team titles, big things come from the tag team title division in 2026. Here at number 64, we're going to have this 8-man / women tag team match. And I'm not going to have the footage for this matchup. We're going to have to use some of the footage from that vlog. I don't know exactly what happened to the footage from this, but it seems to all be missing. But this was a pretty fun match to be there live for. A lot of stuff was going on, a lot of different faces I've never gotten to see before. But it was a really fun match, and Puff dressed as Santa. This was like a Christmas-themed match. It was at the final event I actually went to in 2025. And all in all, it was a pretty fun match, and we're going to move into number 63. So here at number 63, we have a triple threat match for the PCW World Championship. It's Nick Sullivan taking on one of the members of KPK there, and D-Roy. And this match wasn't too bad. I don't have a lot of footage of this match. They went at it for a good amount of time, and they did some pretty decent spots, but it was pretty much a big men's match. It was supposed to be a fatal four-way featuring Davey Boy Smith Jr., but something happened. He couldn't show up, apparently. So we got this triple threat. It was a solid match in the end. I had a lot of fun watching this as the main event. But I do believe the match that was just before this match should have definitely been the main event of the show, as it was a lot better than this match. It was Jason taking on Frank Milano. But this match was a good display of these three big men. And Nick Sullivan ended up winning the championship shortly after this. He did not win at this event, but he won very shortly after. And Nick Sullivan is a great star, so I'm happy about that. Here's number 62, and this is an open challenge. It was accepted by Cecil Nix. It was originally supposed to be Sean Jean versus McRae Martin, which is now taking place in 2026. And I don't have much footage of this match, so here's the only clip. But it was a pretty solid match all in all, especially considering it was improvised. I'm hoping that the match is going to be just as good as it should have been in 2026. It's going to be fire. It's going to take place at the Big Chill, and let's get into number 61. And here is your number 61 match. This was a first-time ever women's singles match between these two, and it was a pretty good match. So at the final event that I attended in 2025, and it was my first time seeing Amira. I've seen Kristara plenty of times, and this match was pretty good. I enjoyed seeing this match. And I'm hoping to see Amira a few more times in 2026, as I didn't mind seeing her in this match. I think that C4 should invest in a women's singles championship. That would be a good investment in my opinion. But honestly, I think I'd like to see these two have another match against each other. Your number 60 match of the year. This was an open challenge. It was accepted by the London Lightning. This match was a pretty good match. I'm actually a really big fan of both of these stars. And this match was just what I expected it to be out of these two. It was a pretty solid championship match. A couple spots were a little shaky, but they're both still young and learning, so that's okay. That's understandable. But this match, man, it was a barn burner. There was crazy spots, back and forth action. The ending was pretty solid as well. I was messing with this match heavy. I was just hoping that London Lightning was actually going to win the championship at this match. I had a big feeling that there was a chance he was going to, and then he didn't, so I was a little bummed out about that. But this match was going crazy, and the crowd was pretty solid for it too. Number 59 match of the year. It's a Fatal 4-Way C4 World Championship match. This was my first time seeing all of these stars in this match, and I'm a fan of all of them. This is my only time seeing Jordan Oliver. He just signed to AEW, so that's pretty cool. I've seen Ortiz a few times, and it's never a bad time to see Ortiz. London Lightning, I'm a big fan of London Lightning. And Evil Uno, I'm a big fan of him as well. This was my first time seeing Evil Uno defend his championship. I did say it was my first time seeing all these people. I've seen Evil Uno at a Ring of Honor taping before this, so it's not my first time seeing Evil Uno. This was my first C4 World title defense as well. It was a pretty good match. It was in the middle of the card, was not the main event. It was a pretty solid match, though. A lot of cool spots. Ortiz had all his classic AEW moves. And the finish was pretty interesting there, where Ortiz just kind of scooped up both men who were in a roll-up. I was kind of confused when it ended at first, but I didn't mind it at all. And I got to see, I believe, 2, maybe 3 more defenses from Evil Uno before he lost the title. I hope to see at least most of these people again. Jordan Oliver might be difficult, who knows. So here's your number 58 spot. Is a tag team championship match for the PCW World Tag Team Championships. That is the Hellraisers versus the Heartbreakers. The Heartbreakers were accompanied to ringside by Bret the Hitman Hart, which was pretty exciting. This tag team match was pretty solid, basic, standard tag team match with a standard tag team formula. Nothing too flashy, too exciting. Just a standard tag team match. It was pretty solid, though. One of the better matches on the PCW show that I went to in 2025. And I'm definitely going to be going to another one in 2026. So stay tuned for that. And that will be at the review of the end of the year as well, where we do the same style video, but at the end of 2026. And all in all, I did have a lot of fun at this match. But it was just a iffy. It wasn't like there's a lot of other tag team matches I've seen this year, and this one doesn't add up to as much of what I've seen in the other tag team matches. And here's your number 57. This is a Remix Wrestling sponsored match for a charity show. And this is Johnny DeLuca taking on Jesse V. I believe I've seen these people multiple times this year, but this was the first for both of them, and it was a pretty exciting match. Jesse V is a massive man, but this man was agile as hell. He was doing like drop kicks and all kinds of stuff like that. It was pretty insane. And Johnny DeLuca is a fantastic heel. He gets the audience booing him really good and pissed off. He went for a dive and got caught, dropped onto the apron, which was a crazy spot. And the spear out of the air was pretty crazy as well. I didn't know what to expect going into this match because I didn't even realize this match was on the card until it happened. But I was really impressed with what I got to see from these two. And then I got to see them again in the future, and I realized that these two were the real deal. And Johnny DeLuca is really good at playing both a face and a heel. I've seen him play both roles, and he plays them both very well. And Jesse V, he's going to go places, man. That man is a beast. And I've seen bro do somersaults off the top ropes to the outside floor. Bro's an absolute animal. Here at number 56, we have Braun Strowman versus Carmelo Hayes from February 28th SmackDown. And y'all are going to tell me that this is a little bit too high on the list. It ended in DQ. This is high on the list just because I'm a big Carmelo fan. And this is the first time I got to see Carmelo. And that's why it's so high on the list. So we're just going to move forward. It was a DQ solid match. Here's your number 55 spot. This was a women's fatal 4-way match. I believe it was a number 1 contenders match at the PCW By-Town Brawl event. This match was pretty solid. All the stars did pretty good. In my opinion, the star of the show in this match was Vanessa Craven and Casey Diamond. But all in all, everyone put on for themselves. And it was a pretty solid match. The crowd was a little bit wah for that match. There was a little kid screaming chicken jockey over and over again also, which was kind of annoying. But it was a solid match. And I do believe I see all of these people later on in this year as well, and I see them all in better matches. So that's also a much better thing. But Vanessa Craven, I need to see Vanessa Craven more often. I mainly see her in managerial roles, and I'd like to see her do some singles work. The two women were teaming up a lot in this match, which was pretty good. So I think down the line they should book Vanessa and Leah against these other two women in a tag team match. That would be an exciting match to see. Perhaps they could book that on their June show in 2026 because I will be going there. I'd like to see that match. So here's your number 54 spot, and this is the second tag team match from PCW's By-Town Brawl. This one was a lot more electrifying and a lot more entertaining than the first one. A lot more fast-paced moving. The crowd was a lot more into it. This was the Church Choir Boys taking on KPK. I was having a lot of fun with this match. Some of my favorite spots were the ace cutter into a big splash. I believe that was the finish, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And the big boy from KPK was dominating for a while, tossing the lads around. So for the most part, this was a pretty fast-paced, action-packed match after what a match before this one was pretty slow. So this one brought the show back to an electrifying feel. And everybody was pretty loud for this match for the most part. And they got behind both teams for a long while. And after this match, the KPK members came out to greet everyone, so that was pretty nice. They gave me all their autographs. They signed my poster because I made a KPK poster ahead of the event because I made some posters for some of the guys because why not? And we snagged the photo, so I'll put that here at the end as well. But this match was one of the better tag team matches I've seen this year, in my opinion. That was a standard 2-on-2 tag team match. It was a basic tag team formula, but it was pretty good paced. The speed of the action was... It kept you interested. It didn't feel like there was like boring wrist hold, chin lock after chin lock. They kept things moving at all times. and it had some crazy spots that kept the crowd interested. And here's that photo now. Here's your number 53 match, and this actually was a replacement. TDT could not make it, so they were replaced by Jimmy Townsend and his tag team partner. I do not remember his name, unfortunately. I believe this is the only time I've seen his tag team partner, but I've seen Townsend and a bunch of other singles matches that you'll see on the list. This tag team match was pretty good. Once again, this was after AEW All Out, so this event started at 8 p.m. 10 p.m. And this was one of the matches deeper into the card, so the crowd was a little bit weak. But I thought this was one of the better matches on the show. I had a lot of fun watching this. Being at this match was a pretty good experience. I've seen Fresh Air quite a few times. This was the only time, as I said, that I've seen these two other guys team together. But I'm a big fan of Jimmy Townsend himself. And the finish of this match was pretty solid here. Here's a clip of the finish of the match. I would hope to see Fresh Air one more time in Smash Wrestling. I'm going to be going again here in 2026, and I hope to see them there. Maybe they will challenge Sinner and Sane for the tag team titles. That would be a banger. And let's find out who you're going to see at number 52. Here you are, ladies and gentlemen. At number 52, it's Marcus Mathers versus Mark Wheeler. I'm a big Marcus Mathers fan. He's a WWE ID star. I can't remember. I do not think this was the first time I've seen Marcus Mathers. I believe I've seen him once before this. But this match was solid. Mark Wheeler plays a very good heel. So I believe Marcus was the face of this match, but normally he also plays a heel for C4, so it might have been a heel versus heel situation, to be honest. But this match was a very, very enjoyable experience to be at live. The crowd was very hot for this match as well, and very excited. We've seen a devastating right hand from Mark Wheeler in this match as well. But I'm not the biggest Mark Wheeler fan, so I would have liked to see Marcus Mathers take on someone else at this event. It is what it is. Here we are at number 51. This is going to be another match that features Mark Wheeler, Tariq, Von Vertigo. It's a triple threat. This is at Smash Wrestling Ante Up. And this match was pretty good. Once again, the crowd was a little bit dead for this match, and that takes away from the match a lot. This event did start at 10 o'clock at night after AEW All Out, so the crowd was a little burnt out already. But the match was cooking. It was a really good match. We did see a pretty scary botch in this match from Vertigo, but it wasn't that bad, to be honest. And Tariq was really good working the crowd in this match. My first time seeing Tariq, he worked the crowd very well. Was very interactive with the fans as well. And all in all, this was a pretty solid match, but the crowd was pretty weak, and that takes away from it. This was also one of the matches deeper into the card, so they were even more exhausted based on that. It was probably past 11 by the time this match had aired. But I think that this match was great. I'm a pretty big Von Vertigo fan, so I'm never disappointed to see Von Vertigo. Scary botch there. I'm glad he was alright. Here's number 50. This is a tag team gauntlet match. I'm not going to put a photo of every team that was in this match, but it was a vast majority of teams. We had Triple Dragon, Stu Grayson, and London Lightning were in there. Stone and Banks, Project 8100. A whole vast majority of teams. Cecil, Nix, and Cristaro were in there as well. Kevin Blackwood and Haley Dillon. And this was actually one of my favorite Stu Grayson matches I've gotten to see so far. I'm a major Stu Grayson fan, and this is one of my favorite matches I've gotten to experience out of Stu Grayson so far. This match, the action was hot throughout the entire thing. I got to see Stu Grayson mix it up with Kevin Blackwood, who's another one of my favorites. And I love this match, man. I just wish the ending was not the way it was. It came down to Stu Grayson and London Lightning, Project A100, and Stu Grayson's team ended up taking the fall and losing. I was really on the side of them winning. But I'm a fan of Dexter Doom, so I'm not upset about him walking out with the gold here. Philly Marino Experience was also another team here. This was the only time I got to experience them. And they were pretty good. So that crazy knee spot that they did right there. And the main problem with this match is just the fact that Stu Grayson's team didn't win. That's for me. It's going to be number 49, and we got a couple photos courtesy of C4, so thank you to our friends at C4 for these photos. And this match was McRae Martin taking on Jimmy Townsend, two wrestlers I'm a big fan of. McRae Martin, of course, one half of Fresh Air, and Jimmy Townsend, one of my favorite Australian indie wrestlers. He is actually one of my favorite heels on the independent scene as well. He plays such a good heel. He gets the fans so against him. And this match just worked so well. Both men worked so good together. And the crowd was pretty electric for this match as well. For the most part, There was a couple of spots where the crowd was a little dead, but for the most part, they were electrifying for this match. We got to see everybody's hitting their big spots. We've seen a pretty suicide dive there. And we even got to see the Eddie Guerrero spot, which definitely helped this one get a higher place. I love to see an Eddie Guerrero spot in a match. And we're going to move into our next spot here. Here's your number 48 spot. It is Marcus Mathers versus Alexia Nicole for the IWTV World title. And this match was fantastic. I'm a big fan of both of these stars. And they worked extremely well together in this match, doing a lot of different combination transitions, and it was a lot of sequences that these two put on together. Marcus Mathers got spiked on the top of his head off of a Hurricane Rana Frankensteiner. We've seen a nasty suplex finish, and for the most part, this match was extremely back and forth, which was good to see. Going into this match, I expected Marcus Mathers to mainly dominate because that's what he does in a lot of his matches at C4. This match was extremely back and forth. It was at Fighting Back as well, which was a charity event to raise money for cancer, so that's always nice to see. And this match had it all going for it. And for the longest time, I actually thought Alexia Nicole might actually be walking out of this match with the victory, but she fell short in the end after getting hit with a devastating cross-legged brain buster. And here's going to be a clip coming up of that Frankensteiner I was referring to a few moments ago. This spot was disgusting. I thought that this spot here alone could have been the end of the match, but it was not to be. I would honestly love to see these two run it back in another sequence just like this one. But Marcus Mathers no longer the champion. Alexia Nicole, I don't understand how she is not signed somewhere. Somebody needs to pick this woman up, because she is insanely good, man, and she is going to go far in this industry. And let's see who makes the next place. Number 47, Sheldon Jean taking on Brandon Cutler. I'm a big Elite fan, so I was very happy to see Brandon Cutler at this event. I got to meet Brandon Cutler also. I might include a photo of that here at the end of this. But this match was pretty solid. Brandon Cutler, unfortunately, did have quite a few botches in this match. I did get to see him do a crazy 360 superplex. I'm not going to put a clip of that, though, but if you want to see it, I do have a clip. Go check out the C4 10 till midnight vlog and watch the full clips highlights of this match. He did a crazy tope con hilo over the top ropes. Went for an enziguri step over the ropes, but he missed, landed on his face. That was pretty unfortunate to see. But other than that, it was a pretty solid match. Brandon Cutler is a very nice person to meet. I've seen Sheldon Jean a few times. It's the only time I've gotten to see Brandon Cutler. But he did tell me that he will be having a match at C4 in 2026, so I will hopefully be seeing that one. And this match was all you could ask for. A couple of botches and slips, but that's all. And here's that photo of me and Brandon Cutler. And this is about the closest I've been to see my favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega. Here is your number 46. It is Daniel Garcia versus Shibata 3 at the Tailgate Brawl before AEW All Out. And the reason this one would have made it higher, it makes it here just because a lot of this match I didn't witness. I was in the merch stands for a lot of this match, but I did get to see a good majority of this match. I don't have any footage, so I'm just going to put some random clips in the background while we discuss it. This match was hard-hitting. Very good match. My second time getting to see Daniel Garcia and Shibata. I got to see Daniel Garcia take on Lee Moriarty, and I got to see Shibata versus Daniel Bryan in 2024, and those matches were incredible. And this match was just as good. And that finish, that curb stomp move that Daniel Garcia uses, such a devastating looking move, man. And this match was it. And I'm glad that I got to experience a majority of this match. I'm very hopeful that I will get to see Daniel Garcia again. He sometimes does come to local indies in my area, so maybe one day I'll get to see him in an indie environment. But I'm just hopeful that I get to see Daniel Garcia and Shibata wrestle it out again. Maybe not against each other, but seeing them just in the ring one more time. They are both such incredible wrestlers, and I would not mind seeing them throw down with anybody on the AEW roster. And we are going to see what comes up next. Final spot of part 1. This is number 45. This is Flying Frank Milano taking on Jason Paquette for one of the top prizes in PCW. And this was actually my favorite match on the PCW event that I went to in 2025, the Bytown Brawl, sorry. This match was incredibly good. This should have been the main event. I believe it was the co-main event. I believe this should have easily been the main event. The crowd was the hottest for this match, and the two in the ring were insanely talented. This was my first time seeing Jason. Oddly enough, not my first time seeing Flying Frank. I actually seen him at the WWE in SmackDown. He was a security guard for the tag team run-in spot that we discussed earlier on in this video. So that was pretty cool. And there's going to be future content coming out on this channel featuring Flying Frank Milano. So stay tuned for that. But this match was just super enjoyable. A lot of really cool spots, a lot of suicide dives, dives from the top rope to the outside. We saw a spinning kill switch maneuver. It was a great match, just in my opinion, the wrong person won. I wanted Flying Frank to walk out with the gold. Tonight he did not. We seen a smash of the face with a title. Little cheap way to end it. And shortly after, Flying actually did win the championship, so that's very good. And we are going to end things right here. And here's some upcoming stuff in the local Ontario, Canada indie scene. And if you are in Ontario, Canada, you should come to some of these events. It will be a great time, I can assure you. And in our next video, we will discuss the remaining 45 matches. So let's see where those matches will place. We also will have some reviews coming out of Raw and SmackDown weekly reviews beginning next week, along with some other random event reviews just for fun. We are going to be picking up the content this year. Get ready, because this is the year where this channel goes to the top, ladies and gentlemen. And we will see you in the very next video. Thank you. Subscribe, hit that like button, and we will see you next time. Please comment below.